Hey, welcome to this video. I'm your host, the Outdated Gen Z himself, and today I wanted to once again take a look at some of my favorite video game soundtracks. I already did this before in the past, but this time I wanted to make another one because I forgot to mention these soundtracks in the first place in that video because it was an absolute rush job, not gonna lie. So this time I'm just gonna finish off what I was meant to say in that video, but because I don't really have much soundtracks left, I'll try to talk about these soundtracks in depth for you all, so then, it's an actual video. So, here we go. How could I completely forget about Yoshi's Island? Or I guess I didn't originally. If you know, you know. Yoshi's Island, or Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. I guess it's technically a Mario game. No, it's not. It did the same thing with Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land and became its own thing. But anyways, I really love this soundtrack. The other Yoshi games are fairly good soundtrack-wise too, but the original Yoshi's Island just hits different with that Super Nintendo sound. I love how happy the soundtrack is. Some of my personal favorite tracks here is the ground theme, of course the athletic theme, and that underground theme goes so hard. So once again, it's time to talk about everyone's favorite Hedgehog. But for something different, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog albums. I mean, they are technically video game soundtracks, but remixed, and they're pretty cool anyway, so, yeah. I'm only going to talk about 3 of my favorites here, so let's start off with Sonic the Hedgehog Boom. Not Sonic Boom, the cartoon and all that crap, okay? So, Sonic the Hedgehog Boom is an album that includes music from both Sonic CD and Sonic Spinball. The Sonic CD tracks are the North American songs, but extended and slightly remixed, basically completing what the soundtrack was supposed to originally be like in-game. For anyone that's never really liked the North American tracks because they always felt like that they were missing something, or hell, even if you are a North American soundtrack fan that never heard of this until now, I highly suggest it, and like I said, you get some Sonic Spinball songs as well. These are actually full remixes of 4 tracks from Sonic Spinball. Like for example, the intro cutscene got a remix here. Yeah, that 12-second long one is now a full-length track. God damn. Next, I want to talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog remix album. This is once again an album featuring Sonic CD tracks, but it's the Japanese soundtrack instead, so it has more appeal to it because everyone meat rides that soundtrack. This album is so cool though. It's either very chill or quite the banger throughout all the album. But some of the names of the tracks are weird as hell though. Like, what the hell is a Dr. Gigglymen? And the last album to check out here is the Sonic Adventure Remix album. This album is crazy underrated and filled with, yeah, remixes of songs from Sonic Adventure. But for real though, out of all the albums I mentioned, I would suggest this one the most. It's just such an oddball in Sonic history, so definitely check it out. You can probably find these tracks uploaded on YouTube if you don't want to spend God knows what on eBay. Now onto some actual Sonic OSTs. Like originally, I forgot to mention Sonic Rush. How did I forget about this? But anyways, I like the soundtrack a lot better than its sequel, Sonic Rush Adventure, because something about it just hits different. Probably because both games had different composers, but the randomly placed samples for the songs in the original Sonic Rush is just so good. Now as well, I originally forgot to talk about Sonic Generations, like dude,
Are you sure that you can call yourself a Sonic fan?
I don't know. Anyways, there are so many great tracks in this game. Of course, most of them are remixes of songs from previous Sonic games, but that is basically the point because of the way that Sonic Generations is. Some of my personal favorite tracks are the Sky Sanctuary remixes, Speed Highway Act 1, and, of course, that sick Blue Bird remix of City Escape. But honestly, I love the entirety of the soundtrack, both the console PC version and the 3DS version, except for their stupid fucking Sonic 4 references. Now, Shadow Generations I don't have anything to talk about. I'm still very spoiler-free on the game, as I, never played the game yet. Ah yes, Mega Man. The one series of games I don't know how to talk about properly, because I suck at the games. But hey, I personally absolutely adore the NES soundtracks, and Mega Man 9 and 10 as they basically recreated the NES game soundtracks perfectly. The Mega Man soundtracks are usually the first thing that I think of when it comes to NES music, or hell, even the NES in general. These soundtracks are the best on the console, and I don't really know what else to say about them because they're just So perfect. Random transition back to the Mario series, or I guess the first soundtrack I talked about here was a Yoshi game, technically. The Super Mario Maker games have some really cool remixes of Mario songs in the level editor. They're just so chill, and I find it really cool that there are multiple layers of instruments that randomly play or don't randomly play in the editor as well. And yeah, of course, the original made tracks that recreate old sound trips are cool too, like the Ghost House theme in Mario 1 and 3, and the Desert theme in Mario World. Now, I could talk about Super Mario 3D World soundtrack, but Captain Toad Treasure Tracker's soundtrack is actually peak. Like, straight up, I don't need to say anything else at all. Any huge fans on the channel that deep dive into everything way too much might know that I use the song Briny Bowl Swimming Hole pretty often in the intros of videos. Hell, I even did it in this video, and the previous video game OST video. There was no need for that fun fact, I'm sorry. Alright. No more random Mario transitions. The F-Zero series is fire when it comes to music, and gameplay, of course. But that's not the point of this video. The original F-Zero is a good old Super Nintendo banger, as most Super Nintendo games are, but the F-Zero X soundtrack is where it's at for me. I always love an electric guitar in a soundtrack, and this game delivers. And thanks to the Japan exclusive expansion kit, I can listen to the Mario Kart 64 Rainbow Road with the F-Zero X style. It's so great. For the love of Granddad, just listen to it. Random transition to the Mario series. Why, yes, I did lie! Although that I dedicatedly talked about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe when it came to Mario Kart games in the last video game OST video, I of course like the entirety of each Mario Kart soundtrack, so I might as well talk about why I like those other Mario Kart soundtracks right here, right now. So starting off with, of course, the original Super Mario Kart. Just like the original F-Zero, it's of course a banger Super Nintendo soundtrack, like most Super Nintendo soundtracks are. I don't really have anything else to say about it, really. I find it cool that each character that you play as has their own theme, though. Mario Kart 64 is basically at first kind of the same as Super Mario Kart, but amplified to all hell. There's lots of songs here that I can just name off of right now. Toad's Turnpike, Calamari Desert, Koopa Troopa Beach, Rainbow Road, Bowser's Castle. All of those were in a random order, but all of those were completely random bangers. Like, next to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I'd say that this is the second most iconic Mario Kart soundtrack. Mario Kart Super Circuit is basically an extension to Super Mario Kart, both, of course, gameplay-wise, but music-wise as well. Once again, amplifying it like Mario Kart 64, but of course, because it's on a Game Boy Advance, it's not really going to be as quote-unquote high quality. But I still love this soundtrack to death as well. Cheeseland is my favorite. The Mario Kart Double Dash soundtrack is an absolute classic, even though I never played Mario Kart Double Dash in my life. Talk about spoilers when I don't want to spoil myself on Shadow Generations. But dear God, it makes me really want to own that game in some given way. Mario Kart DS, I'm of course going to be extremely biased towards because Mario Kart DS was the first Mario Kart game I ever owned. My personal favorite tracks is Delfino Plaza, Waluigi Pinball, of course this game's version of Bowser Castle and Rainbow Road. But as well, I really like the battle mode theme. Mario Kart Wii, I guess, is technically the most iconic soundtrack in a way because it comes with Coconut Mall, but honestly, I think the best part about Mario Kart Wii's soundtrack is Toad's Factory. Weirdly enough, SNES Ghost Valley got a remaster. If you compare it to the Super Mario Kart version, it's actually a lot different once you really notice it. And Mario Kart 7 here as well, I'm kind of biased as well, as it was the second Mario Kart game I ever owned. But Mario Kart 7, once again, has some of the greatest songs in Mario Kart history. Of course, the beautiful track that is this game's Rainbow Road. But as well, once again, I'm pretty sure that every single song that was used in Retro Tracks was remastered just like how SNES Ghost Valley was in Mario Kart Wii. I think the only exception here is DS songs and Wii Mushroom Gorge, I believe. In Mario Kart World, I don't own a Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm avoiding spoilers like Shadow Generations. Yet I spoil myself on Mario Kart Double Dash, like, goddamn, I got some good priorities, just like how I talked about Sonic R before Sonic 1. Biggest plot twist in history. I actually like the main theme of Ice Climber for NES. It's kind of a jam. Yeah, that's it. What do you think of that? What are you gonna do about it? Yeah,
Take that.
So yeah, there you go. That's the rest of the video game soundtracks I wanted to talk about for the time being. But with that, have I mentioned that The Adventures of Batman and Robin from the Sega Genesis soundtrack is actually really, really, really good? Like, it's too good.